And live. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome
Hello,
back
guys.
to Staying Connected, episode 14, I believe.
What's up? Yeah, episode 14 now, bud.
We've got Charlotte in the chat saying hello instantly, so hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hope you're well.
Hello.
Just gonna open my notes if I can find them. There they are. Yeah. So,
Good idea, bro.
quick update. I don't know how many of you guys were watching the cooking stream this morning. Went very well. It was veggie burgers and blueberry muffins, which were very nice.
Delicious.
I can personally attest to that. They were very nice. Out and about delivering them, but we also gave a quick update on the streams for the remainder of the week and next week. So we've got where are we? Where are we at? What day is it? It's Wednesday.
It is
right?
Wednesday. Yeah, that's the one.
So this is Staying Connected. Obviously, that's happening now. We've got a digital skills for beginners in the morning with Ella, and it says Daniel. Daniel, I've got you down. Is doing that.
Yes.
Tomorrow. So
Yeah.
you
It's
and Ella
okay.
tomorrow. Okay. Cool. You've been volunteered anyway. That's 10 till 12.
Yeah.
So tune in for that if you're looking to pick up or brush up on some digital skills. Then we've got virtual well-being in the afternoon, which is Mel, and it says you, Daniel, but it might possibly be me, depending on how quick a turnaround we can get on that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
We'll see how we get on.
It's fine, but we'll see what we get on. I'm both okay, mate.
Daniel's got a busy day tomorrow. So that's digital skills for beginners in the morning, and then episode 6 out of 7 for Mel's virtual well-being, if everyone's been following along with that. So that'll be another Rob workout video for you guys to try as well. We've got Linda in the chat as well, and Matthew. So good afternoon, guys.
Hello, guys.
Hope you guys are doing well.
Welcome back.
After that, so that's the Thursday sessions. There's actually a bank holiday on Friday, which is the first time I can recall that ever happening. But we live in
Bank holiday Friday, guys.
a crazy and uncertain time. So I suppose we can have a bank holiday on a Friday. What harm's it gonna do?
Do what we want, really. Break all the rules.
And then back to next week. So we've got the second session of 3, introduction to digital imaging sessions with Ella. And that'll be myself or Daniel probably on that one as well, and that's 10 till 12:30 or 10 till 12. Yeah, 10 till 12:30 on Monday morning, which is the 11th. And then we've got another Staying Connected, which will be back on Monday. So there'll be no Staying Connected on Friday. There'll be nothing, no live streams on that day.
Yeah.
Just because it's a bank holiday. And then we're back into it. So if you have a look, there'll be some information going out today on social media for next week as well. Just so you guys can keep up to date. I believe Daniel reliably informed us before the session. Well, it's not quite Good Friday, Dan, but never mind. We're really living in a society. Yeah, I think so. At this point, I don't know. I feel like it could be a computer simulation for all I know.
It could be.
We'll not get into that because that's
Who knows?
a stream within itself.
Simulation theory.
A simulation within a simulation. If anyone watches Rick and Morty, that will make sense. If not, doesn't matter. So yeah, there'll be some information going out on social media. Check that out. Remember to subscribe to the channel. And I think, like I was saying, Daniel reliably informed me that we're on 99 subscribers now.
Yeah.
So we're one away from 100. So if you're not subscribed, if you could,
Smash that.
if you know someone
button,
who's
guys.
not, just give them a little cheeky, like, could you just subscribe, please? Like,
Exactly.
subscribe, ding the bell. I sang a song yesterday, but I'm not going to sing it again.
What was it? A Ding the Bell song?
It was a Prince song that I then just imported my lyrics of like, subscribe and ding the bell over the top.
Cool, man. Sounds
So
good.
if we get to 200, I'll do it on stream.
There you go.
But
So
that's it. I'm not doing it for any less.
we previously had requests for Hear From Singing, so guys, 200 subs, and that's what we get.
Yeah.
Hear From Karaoke. So
just the
it's
one
worth
song.
it. There you go.
Anyway, moving on from whatever that's about. What else we got? Because we got a bunch of stuff. So I think I'm just going to double check my email. Anthony has sent me in a bit of his work that he's been doing. He's been doing it in Photoshop, but with some of the advice and guidance that we've been providing via Photopea, I believe. I don't know if Anthony's here at the moment, but I'll make sure he gets the link so he can watch this bit back.
Yeah, you can catch up with him, right, if he's not here.
Just need to
currently.
swap over to the screen with it on, so give me a second. Yeah, so he's designed this logo for. You'll have to wait a couple of seconds probably to see it, Daniel. But it's Roy's Roadie.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And he sent us he sent us a paragraph or so about what it's about. So it's the Roy's Roadie design is an idea for a T-shirt to wear at a memorial gig at the Star in Newcastle, which you'll be helping out with once the lockdown's over.
This is absolutely banging. This.
The design took 2 attempts because of a spelling mistake. So he'd sent us one, but he spelt Roadie slightly wrong, so he's had to go back and correct it. Yeah, so he didn't use a text tool. He's made the letters as well out of the shape tool.
Whoa.
So he's gone for like a more customized look, getting the best matching size that he could.
It's good, man.
Yeah, so he'd been a roadie with Roy's band, the Mimis, for about 4 years, and he's the loss of him's hit those guys pretty hard. So they're going to put together a memorial gig. And he hasn't put it on the paragraph here, but they're making a contribution from the night towards charity, and I think he said it was mined. I believe he said it was mined, but he can correct us if it's wrong. And if there's any links and stuff to that, Anthony, if you're watching this now or watching it back, let us know. But that's a really good effort with that.
Yeah, he's done a really good job there, and I love seeing him as well.
Anthony's here. Yeah, so that's a really good, mate. Really good job with that.
Yeah, you smashed it, Anthony, man.
And like I say, keep us up to date with obviously at the minute it's not able to go ahead, but when it does, let us know how it goes, and hopefully you guys can raise a bit of money as well.
Absolutely, man.
Spot on. The next one I had was some stuff that where are we at?
Ooh.
I've lost my place now because I've closed the email by mistake. I had all of this prepped, and now the email's gone. So we've had some information forwarded about the different like food services and different options for shopping and takeaways and stuff. And I can't remember who sent it through.
Was it Sue?
I think it might have been, but I'm gonna have to double check. Hang on.
I believe it might have been Sue.
Give me a second.
But we'll soon find out, guys.
So Sue Dale. She was talking about it in the chat, and she's Lisa's managed to forward it to me. What's going on? Forward it to me. So this is just information, and it's from. I'm just trying to see where we've got it from. Hello, Susan. That's me, Mr. Crosswoods. Looks like it's from Community Opportunities. Yeah, it is. So there's some information there. What I've done is I've put a link to it in the description of the video. So it's got Morrison's doorstep delivery in there, and we've also got support options, so sources of food during the COVID-19 crisis. Obviously, they're subject to change, but there's some information on how to order different bits of food, what's available, and there's some pricing options on there, as well as different takeaway options for different. Obviously, there's menus and stuff on the bottom. I hope I've been on the list. Yeah. So there's a link to that in the description. So if you guys can check that out, and I'm gonna get that notification's probably gonna keep popping up, so let me just clear that. So I think Dan's just sent me a message.
Pretty comprehensive.
To plug one more thing.
Hey Gary, man. Hello, Lisa.
Is it just given? Did we hear just given up? Yeah. So quickly, if you will indulge us one more little. I don't want to personalise the page. I want to view the page. Where are we at? Yeah, we are. Yeah, so we've got our 2.6 challenge that we've done. If the page loads. So we had Terry Clark join in on this one. I don't know if you guys have been on Facebook at all. We put a video on Terry Clark, who did a 26 basket challenge. So go and check that video out if you haven't. And we're currently at 90% of this. So if anyone can spare a little bit, that'll be great for us. If anyone wants to share it as well, I'll put a link to that in the description, so you might want to just pop it out on Facebook. We do need to do an update on Facebook. I am aware of that because we have actually done the challenge. So just as a background for anyone who hasn't seen, we're doing a 2.6k row and ski, basically as fast as we can, on the two Concept 2 rower and ski machines, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty hard. I can't remember the exact time we got, but we will put out a little update because we took some pictures of the times. With them being separated in different rooms, it was quite easy to do as well because we didn't have to sort of like be on top of each other, which was nice. So I'll put a little link to that in the description if you guys want to check that out, and just keep your eyes open on Facebook because we'll probably be putting an update out as soon as possible.
If you're going full pelt for that, like you said, you soon get tired, I'd imagine, right? So.
Yeah, it's like you do the first 100 meters and you're like, it's easy this one, and then you get like halfway and you're like,
fucking hell.
So that's in aid of just to sort of cover that as well. So that's in aid of the Spinal Injuries Association, who obviously help people with a spinal cord injury attempt to live, have as fulfilled a life as possible, as they put it. So yeah, if there's a little bit more information on there on that page as well. Great. So I'll put that in the description anyway if you guys want to check that out and share it if you can. And again, keep an eye out on Facebook for that. That'll be much appreciated for a worthy cause. I think I've gone through all my notes on the updates. Unless you've got anything else that you can think of, Daniel. Media savvy wise, that is.
In terms of updates, mate, I think we pretty much covered it. Like you say, obviously we're not going to be on this Friday, so there's no Friday streams. So that the staying connected for Friday is obviously going to be off. But yeah, we'll be straight back on Monday. And yeah, you pretty much covered all the bases yourself. Just back to normal on Monday.
Cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. But you covered it too.
Sound. I tell you what, we're going to have a change of pace because we normally do Idiot of the Week at the end. We're going to do it at the start now because I always forget about it. I always get to about 5-2 and I'm like, we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
So there's me and Daniel twice for some reason. I don't know why. Let's go there. You don't want to see our faces twice. That's like once was enough.
I know.
Okay, so the Idiot of the Week results from last week are as follows. So we've got the disinfectant drinkers with a unassailable lead of 75%. Donald Trump was not quite a close second, and Christopher Reeve's son, who went on telly with just his pants on and like a blazer on top. Slightly disappointed. Nah, he did not. Norm was biting.
So, yeah, no, was awesome about that.
No. So Donald Trump was, questioning whether people should inject disinfectant, and then some idiots went and did it, so they've won for drinking it. I think there was like more and more cases across the week of people doing it. So please don't drink disinfectant.
I know, as if people have to say that, you know what I mean?
Disclaimer. Yeah, I've opened the wrong Word document again. Yeah, so don't do it. Just avoid that. Okay, so for this week, so we're going to ignore that week. And we're going to start with Elon Musk. So I don't know if anyone's been keeping up to date with good old Elon. It's hard to do, to be honest, because the guy does a lot of stuff. But headline: Elon Musk tweet wipes $14 billion off of Tesla's value. So Tesla boss Elon Musk wiped 14 billion, about 11 billion quid, off the car maker's value after tweeting its share price was too high. So he tweeted out, and the tweet just literally read, and nothing but no context whatsoever. Tesla stock price is too high, in my opinion.
In my opinion,
there was a set of several tweets, and then he went on to say, "I am selling almost all physical possessions. Will own no house." However that ties into Tesla's stock price being too high. And then he went on to tweet that his girlfriend Grimes was mad at him. I can't imagine why, Elon. So go on.
So like, there's just so much to break down here. Like basically, like if he did this, like he's done this right, and if he's done it intentional, like there's a thing you can short stocks, right? And if he's like intentionally shorting stocks, like that's like a federal offense. That's like you can really get arrested for that. So I think he's speculative at the moment, but
it's not just that. He got in trouble with the SEC the last time which is the security and what's it? I can't remember what it stands for again. Basically, they regulate like businesses and stock traders especially, and all tweets that he put out from Tesla's account had to be approved by like the Tesla legal team. And what people are saying is, but it's an agreement. He already had to step down as like chairman, so he lost his seat on the board. And basically what the people are saying now is he could be facing legal action because of this, because he's violated a rule and an agreement that he signed. And not only that, sorry, go on.
No, you go, man.
So he, apparently, I kind of find the article on it, but watch this space. It'll probably be an update in next week's. Tesla have furloughed a lot of the staff and saying that they won't be coming back to work. And he did these set of tweets 2 days before they're due to offer them an option of cashing in the stocks, because they get the stocks as like a reward scheme for working at Tesla, and he's absolutely tanked the stock price 2 days before he knows that employees are going to be cashing them in for extra cash at the moment. Like I say, at the minute it's all speculative, but there's an ongoing investigation into that aspect of it.
That's the crack. That is so dodgy.
Yeah, so what people are saying is basically he knew that there was going to be a massive amount of cash pulled out in employee stocks, so he's tanked the stock price in order to avoid that.
Mate, that's so rough, dude.
The guy's,
like, honestly,
the guy's gone off the deep end anyway, because he got sued last year because he called that guy a pedo guy.
The diver guy.
Yeah,
I saw that as well.
When he rescued all those kids in Thailand.
And it's like this guy, that guy's like hailed as a hero. He literally rescued people, and then because he was annoyed because he couldn't bring people from Tesla or something to go and do it. It's like, you know what I mean? You can't the thing is, you can't just throw money at a problem to fix it, and that's what he, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, on the same lines, leading up to this even, was so bad, because I don't know if you noticed this as well, but before he said Tesla's stocks too high, IMO. He's got this thing where he wants to be like this kind of edgy meme lord, like he's obsessed with this idea, and he'd been posting a bunch of stuff like, we need to liberate America. There's not enough science behind social distancing. People should be able to go out, and he was like, we need to get back to work. And he went on like a total tirade about that, and I just think it's just so sad, you know.
That was at the time when he was trying to keep the stocks high as well, because he was, if they stayed at a certain level, at a certain cap, he'd get a certain payout, which I believe he got. So he's got his payout now, and now he's tanked the stocks again. And it's just a bizarre set. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets into a lot of trouble for this. And he ends up taking a less active role in Tesla, even more than what he's got. But anyway, he's idiot number one, Elon Musk.
Right.
Just simply for the fact that he managed to wipe off $14 billion worth of value from Tesla stock by a series of about 4 or 5 tweets. He's candidate number one this week. Next up, we've got the armed protesters as they stormed the Michigan Capitol building, demanding an end to the lockdown. Go on, Daniel, because you've read up on this one.
Yeah, so basically, it's one of those things where it's like you can't even believe that it's news, because it seems so unrealistic, where it was like saying Michigan is considering banning weapons inside the government building, and it's like, how is that not a law already? You know what I mean? It's like, how are you legally allowed to go inside of like a government building which has some of the highest members of government in that state with just an armed weapon, and be like, I'm exercising my
it's not even just a weapon, right? I mean, look at them. look at that. Look at it. That's a full-on rifle. It's got a silencer on it and everything.
And they're like, we're heroes. We're true American patriots. And
covered faces as well.
Exactly. It's unbelievable, man.
Not having that one.
So we have covered these guys, but I think that just by the fact that they decided to go in a government building, and they're acting as if they're some kind of people of justice, and they're
there is a video as well, so I'm just going to quickly play it for you guys. This is the set of videos number 2. So as you can see, not really, not adhering to social distancing at all. There's definitely not 2 meters apart in there. Like Daniel says, walking into a government building with a gun, and a loaded gun as well, with your face covered, and not great. They've been hit quite hard with the amount of deaths, and the cases are still on the rise as well. And the protesters that we covered last week were blocking ambulance and emergency service vehicles off as well. So it's not great. Any way you shake it, not great. This one I haven't actually looked at, so we'll leave them where they are, because I don't think we can say any more about those guys than.
Last thing on that, because I know that we don't want to talk about that, especially because we covered it consecutively. But I just think that like if that was any other because like America is like a westernized country and stuff. If that was some other country, like anywhere else in the world, you pick a country, right? And if you say, oh, there's all these people with guns in a government building, it would blow people's minds. But because it's America, people are like, oh no, it's America. It's like that. If that was anywhere else in the world, people would be like, whoa. But it's so crazy.
It's like freedom on another level, really. Freedom that you possibly shouldn't have, to be able to just storm a government building with, ARs and stuff. But never mind. America. Just let America crack on with America things, as far as I can tell at the minute, because it's not going to get any better in terms of their policy on the coronavirus. I don't think, from the rumblings that I'm hearing, it's quite a wild place at the minute. So last one. I haven't really read up on this one, so, apart from the headline. So Amazon vice president quits over virus firings.
So this is not so he's not an idiot, but the idiot is just Amazon.
Amazon itself.
Amazon itself. So that guy. So basically, came from the fact that a lot of workers were complaining about poor working conditions in Amazon. Long hours, not good enough kind of PPE for certain stuff that they had to do, and then so they protested, which is obviously their right, and then Amazon decided to start firing them. So Amazon's been firing some of these people who've been protesting, which is like their staff that's been protesting, which is crazy. And then obviously one of the chief engineers has stepped down. He says, I don't want to be part of the company anymore. And then also one of the vice presidents, I think they've got several, he stepped down and was like, I don't want to be part of this anymore, because if you're firing people who are protesting, he says that it's not a good look. He actually used a swear word. He said that they are chicken.
I know. I seen. I did see the article. I was like, we can't use that one.
So this is just the whole Amazon for that, I think.
I mean, for a long time, their business practices have been questionable at best.
Definitely.
And I think now more than ever, there's eyes on them.
And I mean, it's bad if it's a company, but if it's a multinational company, then it's really bad, because they are, like, if you look at Walmart's the biggest employer of anybody in America, and Amazon similarly have such a high number of staff. So if they've got poor labor practices, it's not just affecting a small number of people. Like, a lot of people work for them. So so.
I'm just reading the quote. So it's evidence of a vein of toxicity running through the company culture. I choose neither to serve nor drink that poison. I mean, it's a pretty scathing indictment of what's going on at the minute. I mean, to be fair, it's nothing new with Amazon.
I know.
They've been sort of done. Well, not that they've been done, but they've been exposed as having horrendous conditions, even in the likes of the UK. So God only knows what they're getting away with in countries where they have more relaxed human rights and working conditions. Makes you wonder. So Amazon are number 3, and I will post a link to that. Have you got you sent me the poll, didn't you?
Yes, I did, buddy. It's in the description. The poll, I think that might.
Oh, have you put the poll in the description, right? I'll paste that in the thingy now. So if you have a little vote on that one.
I'm going to have a vote now myself for who I think it should be. I'm allowed to do that, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing it anyway.
Democracy, right? It's a free.
There you go.
I can tell you straight away, mine rhymes with elephant tusk.
I think mine might also.
That is the scummiest of scum going on that way.
Yeah.
Quick catch up with the chat then. Matthew, I had a friend in school who had a spinal cord injury from birth, couldn't use his legs. His favourite hobby was paragliding. Wow. Amazing fella. I mean, even without the complication of a spinal injury, that's a pretty extreme hobby. But so Sue was saying trouserless Trump, did you say? And Sue, I just want that image out of my mind, so I'm not even going to get into that one. Gary's here as well, so I don't know if we said hello to Gary, but he is here. Lisa said Elon could qualify twice if you look at the name of the baby. Let's not. You know what? We can't spend a full hour talking about Elon Musk. We could, but we shouldn't.
Roast him for a long amount of time.
He wants everyone back to work. He hasn't lost anyone to the virus. Doubt it. Yeah, twit. Yeah, that's a very kind way of putting what I think everyone else is thinking, Sue. Gotta love America, Gary says. Yeah, like I said, just they keep banging on about building the wall. I think just wall them in for a little bit and
I know
see how they get on.
The wall is to stop people going. It should be for the opposite purpose, right? It's like
we've got Wib, hi Wib. No guns, please, unless you're serving in the military. Yeah, fair enough. The way the drivers get. Yeah, so again, Gary's saying that the drivers get treated very poorly for Amazon as well, which is definitely true.
Yeah.
100% agree with that one. But we'll move away from all that depressing nonsense, which is why I did at the start, because we can quickly just like transition out of that. Just be like, right, what's the first good news story of the day?
Do you know what it is, dude? I think this might be a better way to do it, because we
get all the negativity out.
All the negativity out, and then we put it back up with some good stuff. So instead of like having some good stuff and then putting the negativity in and then finishing, so this might be the way to
get
do it.
Get the blood boiling nice and early in the stream, and then everyone will be like all raging and hearts will be beating real fast and that. So this one again, there's a video autoplay here, and I don't know how to. I don't really want you to do that.
Oh mate, one of the links I sent you to does have an autoplay. Like, got me
right. So this is donations for Native Americans flood in from Irish people hoping to thank them for their help during the Great Hunger Famine.
This one's awesome.
Go on, then. Off you go.
Yeah. So basically, in Ireland, when there was the potato famine, this like Navajo tribe gave Ireland like a certain amount of money, and I think it was like $100 or something. But at the time, obviously, that must have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I think they tried to translate it to the equivalent of what it would be now. So now, obviously, this Navajo tribe is suffering because of COVID. Yeah. Like they've been hit quite hard by it, and then obviously they're not getting the support that they need.
Shrink our cameras down a bit. Oh, hang on.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. So like I said, they're not getting the support they need, and then what they've done is they've done a GoFundMe, and a lot of Irish people have ended up raising over $1 million, I think,
right,
for this Navajo tribe to support them with this ongoing crisis. So I think that's amazing, and it's 100 and something years after the potato famine. I can't remember the exact.
Yeah. So according to the Choctaw Nation.
Yeah,
that might be right. I might be wrong. Sorry if I've offended anyone.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Whatever. Apologies to any of the Native Americans that I've just upset there. I tried. $170 in relief money, which would be like roughly thousands in today's like conversion. That was in 1845. So $170 in 1845, probably quite a bit. In spite of the help of others who are suffering after experiencing massive losses, the Trail of Tears, when the native people were forced off the land. 173 years later, the favour's been returned. I cannot see, is the GoFundMe page on here? Let's have a look.
I'm not sure, buddy.
Yeah, it is. Navajo and Hopi Families COVID-19 Relief Fund. It's currently sitting at, is that 2 million? 2.5 million?
I think so.
Yeah, 2.5 million at the minute. Out of the 3 million target, so that one will be jumping up all the time, I'd imagine. And there's a bit more information on the GoFundMe page about what they're doing. So yeah, really nice little sort of gesture. So if anyone wants to check that out, I imagine if you Google donations for Native Americans. Irish people, you'll get this headline because there's the keywords from it. But that's really cool. Like I say, it's almost there now. It's sort of, I know it's 500k, but 500k away. There's been 48,000 people donated so far, so that's really good. Class little one there. There's a few photos and stuff on there. I imagine they'll keep posting updates about where the money's going and stuff by the looks of it. Things like buying food and supplies and things like that on the GoFundMe. So yeah, really good one. Next one is more of a climate related one, which I know a couple of people had some quite strong views on the last time we started talking about. Was it Germany, who were almost completely renewable energy?
Yeah, man, they done awesome. Yeah, that was right. Yeah, the last one we looked at.
This is similar, isn't it?
And I mean, obviously we were a bit critical on America just before, but then you've got to give credit where credit's due, obviously, and yes, so they've producing more for 40 days consecutively, producing more with renewable energy than they are with coal. So that's obviously great news.
Yeah. So I'm just going to look for the stats. Where is it at? just to see what it was. I assume it's obviously wind farms and solar panels, but I wonder if it's like dams and stuff as well. Is it, how do you pronounce this? Is it routers? I never know how to pronounce it.
I think so. Yeah.
They do quite a lot of in-depth like looks into things like this. So if you were ever looking at reports and stuff, UK.routers. I'm going to say routers.
I think you're right. I think that's right, mate. Yeah, routers.
There's some really, really good information on there, and to take a deep dive into different topics. They did a report to say how the ongoing novel coronavirus outbreak could speed up a shift from coal power, despite attempts by Trump's administration and the US Energy Department to boost the fossil fuel industry in recent years. Obviously, it always has to be a trade-off because the economic consequences of you can't just shift an entire industry and shut it down because loads of people would lose jobs and loads of companies would go under and there'd be no money, that you would lose that money from the economy. But what it has done is speed up the shift to more renewable sources. There is still money in it. It's just about how do we safeguard like things like people's jobs and stuff.
I think that as you say though, I think that eventually that will become more lucrative. It's just
oh, okay, sorry.
It's just making that transition, you know, and like as you say, obviously it's a gradual thing, and I think that's a really good point about you just can't shut it down. It has to be something that changes, you know, otherwise you're going to be left with a massive unemployment gap like America's already having a real issue with that at the moment. So it's something that happens gradually, and
so it's just talking further on about the coal exports have declined, which would obviously suggest again it reduced in demand. I think it's becoming the same with oil. A lot of like we covered the other week, a lot of places aren't taking delivery of their oil. They would have a shipment shipped in and they won't take it in because they don't want to pay the storage costs because they know they're not going to use it.
Dude.
So it's, I mean, there is some upside.
It blew me away how much it plummeted. Like the most that it ever dropped. It was like so.
I mean, if you've got any money, now's the time to be investing in things like that because it'll go back up. You know, inevitably, we're not just going to make a switch. So, it's good. We're on the right track, climate wise, I would say.
Yeah, man.
So good stuff. So next one is a story about some Kenyan scientists, and again,
dude, this is awesome. I think.
Go on. Go for it.
So I need the article there, but it says that Kenyan and British scientists. This is off the cuff, by the way, so I need the article.
Well, I'll fact check you. I'll do a live fact check.
So Kenyan and British scientists have developed a microbe that is going to stop malaria in mosquitoes. So this is an amazing development.
Completely as well.
Yeah, completely. So if this proves to be successful, you know, and if they've had success with it at the moment, this could be like kind of groundbreaking scientific development, and it would save so many lives because I believe that like 400,000 people a year die from malaria, and countries like such as Kenya as it lists are very
like a
highly affected by this. So this is like an amazing breakthrough, and malaria is still a huge killer, and I think 400,000 a year is such a high number. So something like this at the moment, I know that they have some of the techniques that they use is they've got mosquito kind of nets, like bed nets, and they put like pesticides. They lace it with pesticides. So because that's when the biggest chance for infection is. It's when people are sleeping, and what they do is these nets, when the mosquito hits it, the pesticide kind of just it either kills it or it repels it, and so they're very effective. But still, if you've actually got something like this microbe that's been developed, that would just like change the whole game. So
so the saying there, there's two main methods are being considered to release it, the microbe. Obviously, the mass release of spores. I'm saying obviously. I didn't mean that. I don't know.
Of course.
Obviously, like, you know, you just get the microbe and you just throw it out there.
All about the mass release of spores.
Into the atmosphere. Like, you know, when you kick like a dandelion and it's all the seeds kind of. That's what I'm picturing right now. Just like wow. But no. So the mass release of spores in areas where mosquitoes live. The other option would be to implant the microbe in male mosquitoes who don't bite in the lab, who would then spread it to the female mosquitoes who spread the disease through their bite, which is very rude. What they're saying is as well, both these approaches wouldn't kill the mosquitoes, preserving the delicate balance between the ecosystems and food chains. So there you go.
That's perfect.
There's some science and stuff for you in case you were looking to brush up on your biology. There you go.
It's ideal situation, really, isn't it?
So, you've got step one, you just get the microbes and you just shake them up and throw them away.
It's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Yeah. It's like, that's how you do it.
But to not make sure you don't spill them anyway, you have to like clench your hands really hard together.
Yeah.
Shake them up so that they're like ready to go and then let go.
That's all.
Otherwise, you'd waste all your microbes and that's not what you want to do.
Can't be doing that.
Can't be wasting microbes. Like, not in this day and
No
age. Waste not whatnot. So that's kind of cool. Hopefully, malaria infections will be on the down. As well as the old climate change. So there's some good news. And probably most importantly and most this one will have the most influence on my life is you picked up one that we've got a cure for hangovers. Now I'm expecting big things here, Daniel, because I haven't read this one. So
okie dokie.
I need you to explain.
So basically, right, it's not like how people say, there's always like everyone has their own hangover cure and they've all got like their own reasons for it. But they were saying that
like
this
a raw egg or something like that, or something disgusting.
Exactly,
hair of the dog.
The hair of the dog. Yeah, there's multiple different ones. People say like, Lucozade because it gives you, it's got like the glucose or whatever, and then it's got the sugar as well.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. But basically, this they say is a peer-reviewed, double-blind, randomized controlled trial that has been published in a BMJ Health and Nutrition. So it's like it's as like legit as you can get, really. And it's made, and they did so. Obviously, when you do it like so, that's generally how whenever scientists are trying to prove how effective something is, like nutrition-wise, that's what they usually do. It'll be like a
double-blind test,
like double-blind test. Yeah. So they'll have a couple different people. So they'll have people who are placebo, and then they'll have people who are actually doing it. Control, and then they'll kind of assess the effectiveness of the product.
Okay.
And basically, they said that some 214 healthy 18 to 65-year-olds randomly split into 3 groups, and they were given the supplement, and immediately. So it was saying that
immediately after they stopped drinking any beer, white wine, or white wine spritzer.
Yeah. So the first group were given a supplement containing the plant extracts, vitamins, minerals, and so on. The second group were given a supplement minus the plant extracts, and the third group were just given glucose alone, in brackets placebo, what we just talked about there. And so it goes on about how it was recorded and the methods that they used. If we skip down to the actual so then if we look at the actual data here, it says that the alcohol was consumed was all the same. So it's just telling you more about how the test was conducted.
I tell you what, this is going to be the best survey to ever be involved with. It's like, we're going to pay you to come here and have as much drink as you want, and then we're going to cure you. Do you know what? I'll pay you, honestly. Like, there's a tenner. I'll pay. Should be charging at the door.
So they were saying, right, that the ones who had the full works had less severe symptoms compared to the other people, and they said that average headache intensity was 34% less, nausea was 42% less, feelings of indifference, which is an interesting one, was fell by an average of 27%, and restlessness dropped by 41%, and this is compared with the placebo people. So no significant differences or reductions reported by any of the other symptoms, but they are obviously the main symptoms of a hangover. For me, is nausea, restlessness, and feelings of indifference. I'm not sure about that one, but you know what I mean. I usually feel pretty sick and quite restless. So they were saying that this magic combo, it does the trick basically, according to this. And what's in it is Barbados cherry. It's acerola or acerola. I'm not sure how to say that. Prickly pear, ginkgo biloba, willow, and ginger root. And then they put vitamins and minerals in it. So magnesium, potassium, sodium, bicarbonate, zinc. Riboflavin, thiamine, and folic acid. And they say that is the secret. So there you go, guys. Be on the lookout for that.
I know zinc has something to do with your liver as well.
Right, yes, I've heard stuff like that.
That's why
people say when you have a cold, you should take zinc.
It's regenerative, I believe.
I've heard it's good for cold.
So let us know. We've got a few. Matthew's saying, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Something oyster. What does that say?
Prairie oyster?
Prairie
oyster?
Whatever
That's what
that
I'm
is.
guessing.
I'm gonna Google that right now. And Matthew, if it's something rude, you're in trouble because it's gonna be on stream. Okay. A traditional beverage consisting of a raw egg, Worcestershire sauce, vinegar and hot sauce, table salt and ground black pepper. Tomato juice is sometimes added, so it's a little bit like a Bloody Mary.
Oh my god! I mean,
without the alcohol in.
Word for that one, Matthew.
To be fair, I give him credit. Yeah. I've had a Bloody Mary before and I've been really, really hungover. Worked quite well.
I've heard that they do, but
it's awful. It doesn't taste nice, but it sort of works because it's got like tomato juice in and a bit of pepper and it's whatever. I can't. Hang on.
Tabasco, tomato, celery.
Cocktail: vodka, tomato juice, other spices and flavouring, including Worcestershire sauce. Easy for me to say. It's a big horrible mess sometimes, but it did sort us out on that particular day.
Mate, so. I've been in the same room as people who've had Bloody Marys when I've been there, and even the smell I can't handle. Like, so imagine drinking it. Yeah. I can't. I'm not about that. Like,
Sue said Underberg.
I know Sue was saying Underberg's something that she said it's like #1 hangover cure.
A digestive bitter. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I'll take your word for it, Sue. You apparently can get it here. I might give it a try next time. I normally just have like a Red Bull and like a couple of pints of water, and then I'm all right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not. I seen on the subject. It's not quite news, but you can get like a hangover IV drip in like America.
That's insane. I mean, I'd imagine that would obviously work because it's the quickest way to rehydrate your body.
Yeah, there's a massive tangent, by the way, guys. So well done.
But at the same time, it's like I mean, I've never had a hangover that bad where
you need to be hospitalised. Just straight to the hospital. Yeah. It's not going to happen at the minute. To be fair,
yeah.
I imagine IVs are very short supply, and I think these are only in America anyway. But I remember seeing it. It's like a bus that goes around in America. Obviously, it's done by a medical professional, so it's done by a registered nurse. But they travel around in a big van, and they've just got like IV bags around, and they just put that in. Apparently, you're supposed to feel better within like half an hour, because obviously your body just gets all the vitamins and nutrients and
I heard something about Dave Chappelle. Obviously, he's like one of the richest comics in the world, and Joe Rogan says he was touring with him, and he said that they were like partying all night over something, and he was saying the next day Dave Chappelle had to do something, so he like hired people to come and give him like an IV, so he could like get the energy to go and do it. And, like, so I've heard people doing it before, but yeah.
Yeah, so obviously there's a few things in there about what causes hangovers and stuff as well, so that might help. But yeah, if anyone's got any more hangover cures, feel free. Because I imagine, I know for a fact there's a lot of my mates have been drinking a lot more in the house, and sometimes I talk to them on the morning, they'll send us a text and like, well, bloody hell, it's another rough one, like. So yeah, and then we've got a bank holiday coming up, so I imagine there'll be a few beers and wine scanned down in the garden. Although we're not supposed to mention the G word around Lisa, so we'll quickly move on from that. I've got some boring tech news for you now.
Let's have it, man.
It's relevant. It's very relevant. So,
can't be a bit of tech news.
We talked about it, I believe, last week when we talked about Apple and Google coming together to create a joint API. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. This is a slightly different one. We talked about the French government developing their own app and why it was potentially a problem with privacy. So the next up, the UK obviously have now decided to release an app, or the schedule to release an app that's going to track people reporting COVID-19 symptoms to alert people that they had contact with. And there's my hangout. They always pick, like, I don't know if it's just his face, but they always manage to pick a picture of him that's very, like,
I know.
It's not flattering at all. Anyway, so the UK government has confirmed it will release an app where you're going to self-report symptoms. And I believe they're going to build in a part of it where if you get a diagnosis, you can then put in a code, like an authorizing code from, say, the hospital or a doctor's, that the app will know, and then that'll be able to send out an alert to anyone that you've been in contact with, and they'll know that via Bluetooth. So you've got two devices that both got this app installed. They're both using the Bluetooth to say, right, okay, well, I see that app's installed on that phone, and vice versa. So it knows that you've been in contact with that phone. Like physical contact, that is.
Yeah.
The main issue with these ones that I've got, if I skip right down to the bottom, where's it at? I can't remember where it is now. I literally just read this about an hour ago. So the issue that it is that we've got 79% of UK adults have a smartphone, but the install rate would need is 60% for it to be anywhere near effective. So the data that it's going to get would only be effective if up to 60% of people installed it. It is going to be beta tested, I believe, next week. It might already have started in very, very small areas and very, very small sort of pilots. So there'll be like a handful of people using it, like say 1,000. When I say a handful, because you've got to think of it in terms of the whole population.
The whole, yeah, exactly.
The issue for me, mainly, Matt Hancock said that the app would anonymously alert other users and that I would be opt-in. Some of the plans that they've made in terms of people being allowed to travel would include a mandatory app, and I don't know where I come down on this. I feel like that's a massive overstep in terms of privacy, in that you can't force someone to hand over the data.
For sure.
And despite how many times they say all data will be handled according to the highest ethical and security standards and would only be used for NHS care and research, I don't doubt, to be honest, that they wouldn't do anything deliberately with the data. The issue is, where's it stored, who could get access to it, and what information's being stored as well.
Good point, man.
It's not that I think they would deliberately do anything with it. One, they could, is the issue, and two, someone could always get their hands on it, is the other issue.
And
it's what we don't know what they're taking as well. That's my main concern at the moment.
And also, you got to think that this is something that it's not like they're going to be able to take a certain amount of time on this. It's a time-sensitive thing, so they're probably going to rush it out because they just simply don't have the time to fully develop it. I don't think, because if they try to develop it in a month, then that'll already miss like a huge amount of people that they could have kind of tracked or whatever,
Yeah. So there's a little snippet in there. An ineffective opt-in app could be a precursor to a more stringent measures, such as mandatory apps or electronic geofencing. So like what they've got in China with the watches and stuff, where they've got like different color codes and different barcodes, things like that. I think the main issue is a privacy issue for me, and not to mention I think what the problem that a lot of people are having as well, there shouldn't be a replacement for actual testing. It should be used alongside it. So just because you can have an app that can trace it doesn't mean you shouldn't still be testing people actively before the reporting system. And that's been from across the tech world, and it's been noted in countries that have already tried it, places like Singapore, places like, I believe is it Taiwan, did they say?
Taiwan's had a very good response to it. Taiwan, for a place that is geographically so close to China, it's literally an island just off China. To have the small number of cases they've had, they had hardly any cases. They did an amazing job of kind of mitigating it. And so did Hong Kong, to be fair, because obviously Hong Kong, a city inside China, had significantly lower weights than the rest of China. And you've got to think that, talking about Taiwan and Hong Kong, Hong Kong's one of the most densely packed cities in the world, and Taiwan as a whole, especially a city like Taipei, is so massively densely packed. So if it did spread there, it would spread like wildfire because there's just so many people in such a small proximity. So for them to be able to kind of control it the way they did, it was quite impressive.
Yeah, I think, like I say, for one, I don't think I'll be installing it until I'm assured that it is going to be above board and legitimate. And it's not, like I say, it's not in terms of what the government and the NHS are going to do. It's what kind of security is in place to stop your data being breached, and what data it's handling as well. And I'd say, I keep saying it, I can say it till I'm blue in the face, but just when you're installing new apps and you come across new technology, especially at the minute, be very, very careful with what you're agreeing to.
Dude,
it's illegal for them not to put it in plain English what they are taking and what they have access to. You'll often see it on your phone, what it wants access to. Does it want access to your location? Does it want access to contacts, emails, whatever? It'll pop up with an allow or deny, and just be aware. Things like Facebook as well, information from other platforms, things like that. Just have a think about it, especially at the minute. I think.
Yeah, and I mean, no one ever reads the terms and conditions of anything ever, do they? Like, so
Yeah.
it's like when it like I mean anybody, right? When was the last time you sat and read through terms and conditions or something? It's like no one ever does that. So
Yeah. I
good
think
point.
Matthew's brought up a really good point as well to say he does wonder how they're going to counter people who will abuse the app.
Yeah.
I think one of them is that official diagnosis code. But the other problem is you can say that you're having symptoms even if you haven't had an official diagnosis.
Yeah.
So again, that has the possibility of people, just doing it for the sake of it. And I think being online for more than 10 minutes, you'll find that people will just say stuff online because they can, and it's anonymous. And the flip side of that is, well, then they'll probably turn around and trace where you are. But all that says to me is that they can do that at any point, so that data isn't anonymous at all.
So then it's a fixed object as well. So
it's a funny one, and like I say, I'm very uneasy about it at the moment. To be totally truthful. Quick one on that was the UK government's app that's been developed separately. This is the Apple and Google joint one. They just showed off some of the screens of what it might look like. So this is some of the possible notifications you might receive. I'll just show the pictures. I'll not dive too far into it.
Cool. Yeah.
So there's a little gallery of some of the images of what they've tested. So it's like a standard notification you would get on your phone, basically, and showing you if you've got the different steps and stuff.
So hey, how do you? So right, okay. So how do you think about this one compared to the one we just looked at? Like, is there like a major difference for you in it? Or?
So this one, but there's a little bullet pointed set here. So what Apple and Google haven't made an app. They've allowed access to their operating system. So iOS, when you open your iPhone, what it opens up to, how the apps are stored and everything, that's the operating system. Same with Android. When you open it up and you've got your operating system, what they've done is come together to allow a cross-platform, so one that works on both systems. It'll work on Android and Apple, and they're allowing developers access to that so that they can create them. But they've set very stringent terms, as you can see here in these bullet points. So they must be created by or for a government, public health authority. So not just the government, it has to be the public health authority of that government as well. So it can't just be cool. Me and you couldn't just come up with an app that's a tracing app and then harvest all the data off it and say, right, see you later, we're going to sell that on. Must require full user consent, which is a massively important feature. Require user consent before sharing the results of a positive diagnosis. Collect only the minimum amount of data necessary, and only use it for COVID-19 response efforts. So if they get caught doing any of this, they're going to face massive fines, massive implications. Targeted advertising not permitted. Any other use of data not permitted.
Good.
Apps are prohibited from seeking permission to access location services. So it's not going to be based on your location, as in your satellite location or your navigation. It's based on Bluetooth interaction. So Bluetooth from one device to another. So they're not going to be tracking your location per se. It's more going to be your interaction through Bluetooth with another device. There's been a lot of privacy advocates of sort of. Well, they're up in arms, really, saying that there's a lot of problems because you'd always have to have your device on. You're always going to have to be looking. They're always going to have to be updating, and all that information's probably going to be stored somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are we at? So one of the most, but it is still at the minute perceived to be one of the most effective ways of containing like the virus and tracing it, because that's the problem at the minute, is tracing. Okay, well, that person's got it. How many people have they interacted with? And off the top of even off their head from their own account, it would be almost impossible to say, because all they had to do was touch the button on a lift or open a door or cough in a 2-meter proximity of someone, and it's impossible.
There's so many variables, right, with stuff like that.
So it is a viable solution. It's just you have to get the privacy side of it right. What you don't want to do is open the back door for people to just be able to harvest millions of people's data and use it against them, or make money, or even compromise their device. Do you know what I mean? Compromise your phone, compromise your tablet, your computer, whatever it is. It's all about like permissions as well. You've got things like GDPR to consider as well.
Of course, man.
People are rightfully making the point that some experts saying the project could be exposing locations, contacts, other sensitive information on an unprecedented scale. I mean, there's potentially billions of people going to end up with this app.
Because obviously we were talking about when France were kind of going into it and stuff. Have they implemented it since then? Are you not quite sure? Like,
I don't know about the French one. The only update I saw was the British one. So again, it's ever expanding, this one. So it's going to be one that will probably come up again. Business Insider did quite a good job. The practice, so involves tracking. So just to reiterate, the practice of contact tracing isn't purely digital. It's a thing that they do all the time when there's pandemics and outbreaks of viruses. They try and trace where that person was. They'll go to where they worked. They'll go to where they live to see what kind of exposure they have. So yeah, it's just it's a good method. It just needs to be done right.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be effective.
The issue with it is the Apple and Google one is done via the device, whereas the one that the British government are currently developing is going to be done through a central server. So instead of the information being held on the device side, which would mean if anyone was going to hack it, they'd have to hack into your physical device that you hold. Okay. It's sitting on a server somewhere, wherever the UK government store it, which then makes it a little bit more vulnerable because it's in one place. A targeted hack on you personally, your phone, your tablet, very unlikely. A targeted hack on a government facility, probably quite likely in the current climate.
Makes sense.
It happens, and that's my main concern at the minute. And I'm going to stop talking about me weird conspiracy theories now. But it's not. It's
interesting. No, it was definitely an interesting one.
It's just keep an eye on them, basically, because at some point you might be pointed towards downloading this app for to be allowed to travel again or whatever. However they're gonna phrase it, and I think that's my main concern at the minute is if they're gonna try and make it mandatory, or what they might do is not package it as mandatory in as many words, but basically say to you, well, look, you can't go anywhere unless you download this app. And I think that's a very dangerous game to play, in my opinion.
I think it probably, as we're coming towards the easing of the lockdown steps, it's much more likely it would be implemented then, right? So I think that, it is something that could happen soon. So I think that it's a good point to mention.
Just bear it in mind, guys, really, would be my main takeaway. And if you've got any questions on that, I'm happy to take some questions, because I appreciate it's quite confusing. It's a bit all over the place. But we do things like the digital skills for beginners, and the e-safety sessions and stuff. So if you've got any questions, they're a great place for it. Matthew's saying, okay, so it's probably wouldn't alert other people unless their case was officially confirmed. Yeah, as far as I know, that's how it's going to work. One of the government adverts might plug up. Well, exactly. This is the thing. If it's a government app, the official government advice is going to be to download it without possibly fully explaining what the privacy ramifications are. I will give them a little bit of credit and say that they've published the source code of the app.
Oh, really?
So far, I don't know if that's going to continue to happen, but the initial app that's going out, they've published the source code of it in a bid for transparency. I don't know how that works in terms of that allowing people to work out vulnerabilities in the system.
Does that make it more vulnerable?
Well, that's what I was thinking, to have an open source, but I don't know. We'll see. Like I say, it's all this news sort of only came out in the last couple of days, so it hasn't really been fully sort of analysed and stuff. But definitely one. If you're worried about stuff like that, tuning into the digital skills for beginners and the e-safety sessions, and we can talk you through stuff like that. Again, email, great way to get in touch with me, which is just Hatham@savvycic.co.uk, which I will just throw up in the chat there. If anyone's watching this back as well, not live, it'll be in the chat right now. And then finally, guys, if you can just fill in, you know what time it is. It's survey time.
You know what time it is, guys. You know what we're going to mention.
If you can just click on the survey, fill it in. Should take you 30 seconds. Anything you want to see, anything that was good, anything you didn't enjoy, let us know. And I think, as far as I know, let me just quickly check my notes. I've missed one story off, but I'm just going to throw it in on Monday. It's fine.
Sure.
Don't worry about that. So cool. Give me a shout. Let us know what we did well, what we didn't do well. We didn't pronounce Reuters right, so it's Reuters.
Writers.
Yeah.
What are we saying rooters?
I don't know, Dan. Let's just pretend it never happened.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Cool. Yeah, guys, fill that survey in, please.
Cheers. Get that
link.
survey done, guys.
And we will see you tomorrow for Digital Skills for Beginners.
Yep. Digital Skills for Beginners. And then Virtual Wellbeing.
Virtual Wellbeing, apparently.
Virtual Wellbeing.
We've changed the name. Yeah, guys, take care and have a good evening. Good evening.
Have a good evening, guys.
Bye.